This is the Unit 1 Cold War focus session looking at the question types. Okay, so the first question type you're going to get is this one. It'll say, give 2 reasons from source A about something in particular. Do not use your own knowledge. Both reasons have got to come from the source. It's a simple question, extract 2 reasons. Okay, if it doesn't say reasons, it'll say effects or causes. Whatever the wording in the question is, you use it to start your sentences, but do not use your own knowledge. Okay, quick 2-mark opening question to get you going. Question 2 is going to say outline 2 ways or 2 steps or 2 methods. Again, use whatever the wording in the question is. You get your first mark for identifying what the way is or the step is. So one way is, and then the second mark is for providing supporting detail. So you do need to draw on some own knowledge, but one factual example, a couple is enough. Then another paragraph, a second way is. So you get your third mark for identifying a second way, and then supporting detail, for example. Question type 3. This is the one that some of you struggle with. It's the one where you'll be given 2 sources. And actually, I think it's more straightforward than some of you realise. And you're going to be asked, how useful are sources B and C for learning about X something? It might be just say an event about the Berlin blockade, or it might say about the reasons for something or the effects of something. You have to read the question really, really carefully so that you focus on whatever the question is asking. Now, the first part of your answer has got to give examples from the content in terms of how it is useful. So the source is useful because I learn, whatever you learn, and pick out examples. So you need direct quotes, and you need a couple of examples. Maybe 3 examples, and then a little comment on them about what it suggests. Then, because they're looking for an evaluation, you need to say how the source is limited. It doesn't mention something that you know about. So the second part of your answer, you're bringing in your own knowledge. So if it's the effects of something, then you bring in your own knowledge about the effects of it. Not just general information, focus on what is in the question. So the first part, you're looking at the content of the source, and you're providing specific examples. Level 2 of the mark scheme says students must extract useful information from the source. Now, the third part of your answer, you're looking at nature, origin and purpose. And you're basically thinking about what it is, who wrote it and why. If you just list them, then you're not going to get any marks. You've got to use those prompt questions to help you construct a response. So the source is useful because it is an example of Soviet propaganda, and I can see how the issue was presented to the people at the time. So whatever it is, it's going to be useful. But you also then have to weigh it up. You know, the source is limited because it is propaganda and therefore will not be telling the whole truth. So you've still got to focus on the wording in the question, how useful. So whatever it is, whoever's written it and why, you're going to find some useful aspects to it. But you're also then going to have to evaluate it, weigh it up. It's limited because of this. So it's these 3 key components. Look at the content of the source and how it's useful, look at how it's limited and bring in your own knowledge, because if you don't, that will limit your mark, and then consider its NOP, it's how reliable it is, but focus on that issue of usefulness or utility, and then you do exactly the same, those 3 sections for the second source as well. Question type 4 will be describe how or describe the key features of. This is the same question that you had in Unit 2. So one way or one key feature is, for example, and you've got to bring in supporting detail. And then you need to do it a second way. So a second way or a second key feature is, for example, and bring in supporting detail. question type 5. Now this is worth 15 marks, but it's broken down into 3 5-mark sub-answers. And you're going to get, explain the importance of 3 of the following. And they will give you 4 things that you can choose from. One of them, the one that you find the hardest, you're not going to answer on. And you're going to do 3 responses to the 3 bullet points you choose. Now, they are not looking for a big description of the event. They are looking for a brief description, and then the main focus should be on you explaining its importance. And often the question will say the importance of 3 of the following in international relations. So you're looking at that relationship between the USA and the USSR, or the West and the East. So you've got to explain its importance. So think about how it changed relationships, or the impact it had, or how it changed, what's coming next. So you can see, to get into level 3, you've got to explain importance with detailed factual support. And in many respects, going back to question 4 here, they're not looking for you to describe everything you know about it, but focusing in on 2 key aspects of it. Just like in question 5 here, that they're expecting you to explain its importance. And then in question 6, which is your essay question, you will have explain why relations changed between the superpowers between, I don't know, 1980, 1985, or between 1948 and 1956. Or they might just give you a single year or a single event. So you've got to respond to whatever they're asking. Your structure is quite straightforward. You need 3 P paragraphs. They will give you 2 ideas on with bullet points, and then you have got to add a 3rd idea. So P paragraph, one reason why, for example, and you need detailed factual support, and this led to whatever it is in the question, or this was important because, so you need your explanation, and then at the end of that you need your conclusion. So they're expecting you to explain how reasons interlink. If you do 2 reasons interlinking, you're going to get 11. If you can do 3, 12 or 13. So these reasons interlink to explain why whatever it is in the question happened, for example, and then you've got to show how those reasons work together. Okay, and you're making your judgment really clear.